Hello and welcome to this News from the Matrix 6. The end of class? Question mark?
Duh, duh, duh.
Yeah,
Probably. It almost.
most likely.
I'm almost guaranteeing now that we're not gonna
Get
see
enough a
a
season?
series. I don't even know. There's really. I mean, I don't have any doubts in my mind. I don't think we're gonna see any more of
Yeah,
it.
so
It's over.
in a series of tweets, the main and only writer of class, Patrick Ness, said the following. I decided a while back that with unbelievable regret I won't be writing any more class, even if season 2 moves ahead. It has been the most amazing experience. I loved it, and I am proud of the show and what we made. My heart just burst with happy. But we should be filming right now. With the new cycles of Who, we'd pretty much be on air before even 2019, but we're not. And that's just TV and how it goes. Not even the littlest bit bitter. What an amazing experience. Huge thank yous to the BBC Three and BBC America for their love and enthusiasm for class. BBC America in particular absolutely loves the show. I remain baffled by the scheduling decisions of BBC One, which were odd for a critically acclaimed show, but again, I'm so grateful for the chance. If I'm honest, a season 2 has been a faint hope, but it's a fact that BBC America loves the show, so who knows? If so, I wish them wings. I'm super sad, and I fought hard to be making it right now. Trust me, I'm a feisty little MOFO. But what a lucky man I've been to have been able to make a show I'm so proud of and work with wonderful people. Never even dreamed it. So thank you everyone who watched and loved it and argued about it and watched it again. You made my heart swell. In brackets, and if I had got a second season, Weeping Angel Civil War and Planet in capital letters, so I guess that would be the planet of the Weeping Angels. Quill has a dangerous son, and Charlie and Mattu's shirtless wood chopping. And that's all. So, quite a few interesting things in there. So, it seems like he wanted to start writing season 2, but wasn't allowed to. Hence why he's left it.
Yeah. I'm not convinced that's the full story, just purely because, like, of course, there's probably several NDAs on it and such.
I think there's a large thing to do with viewing figures, but then I think that's a large fault of the BBC One. I think they
it's like
handled the release completely wrong.
Well, no, I think. I mean, it didn't do. That's the reason why it hasn't been like instantly like, oh, we need to get season 2 immediately. No, it was very much. I mean, it failing on the iPlayer alone kind of, I think, killed it in itself. I don't think.
I think the problem is when you release it on iPlayer at 10 a.m. or whatever time they released it at. There's no hype. 10 a.m. people are at work. You know, people are away, so they don't get to watch it. And if you're like, it's gonna be there later, I might as well watch it then. But when it's on TV, like live. There's something special about it that you want to be there when it goes out, when everybody else is watching it, you know? So I believe that's wrong to start with. 2, it wasn't advertised enough on television itself. They tried to advertise it all online. 3, I'd say enough a mistake was it was only 8 episodes. So that really kind of, they had to try and shove a lot in there, in that short 8 episodes. That didn't help.
Well, I don't think that fits the viewing figures necessarily.
Well, I think it made the series not as good as it was. I think it could have been better.
Well, I think it was generally like, regardless of what you think overall, like generally it was pretty high critically acclaimed.
Well,
like people were saying it was good from episode 1. Like there was positive reviews, and yet nobody went and saw it. There were, And, like, once it was already released in the iPlayer, well, there's not going to be any hype for it on TV because it's already released. You don't care about it as much. So it's like...
It's iPlayer first. No, it's TV
all
first.
On the iPlayer.
Yeah, TV first, then on iPlayer. It was just silly. Silly.
Well, what they've been trying to do is really push that service because, of course, Class is a BBC Three production, which is now online, which is silly. And basically, they're really trying to push this service, but like all the BBC's attempts at this are just failing. Like they had the BBC Store, and that failed, and now they got the BBC Free on iPlayer, which nobody cares about. Nobody can be bothered to go and watch.
Nobody watches.
It's not like
TV.
streaming services can't.
Look, yeah,
of course, streaming services work.
People don't watch TV on their laptop. The only time people watch TV on their laptop is Netflix or when they've missed a show. But if they're going to watch the show originally on their laptop, to me it just doesn't make much sense. You know?
Yeah. BBC iPlayer is a catch-up service.
It's
not a new thing watch service. You know. Though, in fairness, I don't know how well it would have done, say, if it had, for example, had it on Netflix, you know. I don't see it necessarily...
No, but what I mean is people only watch, episodes of stuff on their laptop when it's either Netflix or they missed it live.
Pretty much, yeah.
Nobody looks for a new series on iPlayer. People...
No.
Netflix. It's just how it goes. You know, so it was a wrong move. So yeah, and the fact that they aren't filming season 2 as we speak right now, which they should be, if they wanted it to be released at the same time, you know, for October. That's enough.
Yeah, I think that pretty much tells me the BBC have no interest in pursuing this any further, because you can't hold it back for too long if you're just kind of thinking about it, because your actors are of an age where when they get older they're no longer going to feel like they're properly in the part anymore. So you gotta do it now, or you gotta do it never, basically.
They ain't gonna live forever. But yeah, I don't know, but I think there's some positive things coming out of it if they do continue it. One, don't have one writer writing the entire season. It will drain it. Like his monsters got pretty weak throughout the season. Like the Shadowkin were good, but then someone else should have done some others, because I don't know, for me they started to get weaker. Like the Killer Plants was an interesting one, but it was just a bit dull. There needs to be other writers coming in and contributing. I think have like a board of writers, you know, because it gives it a lot more variety. Like this latest season of Doctor Who, there's been a lot more variety. But yeah, I don't know, because I don't know, because I don't really... So the thing about if he had the second season, a Weeping Angel Civil War, what would... You know, how does that work?
That does sound interesting, though.
But their planet?
Exactly.
Do you want to see their planet? I don't know, I kind of like them being a bit ambiguous.
They've shown... It hardly matters at this point, in terms of, Weeping Angels. They've literally shown us them moving. I don't think there's any limits they can't do.
Yeah, I don't know, but it feels like if Charlie and Matsus, or however you say it, shirtless wood chopping was a massive pinnacle, you know, thing of it. I just don't know if he was the right person to run this series anyway, if that's what he's concentrating on. You know, I get the growing up bit is important and whatever, but it should be kind of a bit more sci-fi than that.
Shirtless wood chopping.
I don't know if that's your bit. If that was the entire episode one, just them shirtless wood. You know, it doesn't it's not like if I was going to write a series, one of my ideas would not be, you know, shirtless wood chopping needs to happen. You know, it's the first bits are good, like Quo's a Dangerous Son, you know, Weeping Angel Civil War, that's cool. But, you know, I don't know. I think if it does get picked up by someone else, it could save it. But the problem is that Nisa already set up, one, Rachel being a Shadowkin, and two, the Weeping Angel thing. So, they're stuck.
I don't see it being picked up by anyone else, though.
I don't.
I just don't see it.
I don't see
think
it being
the series has not been successful. It's been a failure, to put it bluntly. It's failed in most accounts, in terms of viewing figures, and in terms of actually just in general keeping interest, like nobody cares about Class. It's nobody really. It's just sort of there. Like, it happened, it was a thing, and everyone forgot about it. And
Yeah.
that's it. Like, I thought I was joking when I said it's gonna sit in kind of a spot alongside K-9 and Company as one of these forgotten spin-offs, but that's pretty much already happened. It's already happened.
It's just become a thing.
Like, you ask an average person about Class, and nobody's heard of it. In fact, heck, I'm sure if you asked half a Doctor Who fan, they're like, "Oh, that thing, that was
in 10 years'
something."
time.
Yeah, nobody's gonna remember it in 10 years. It's gonna be this interesting experiment that never went anywhere. That's what it's become, and like, I didn't hate the show. There's several episodes, there's a few episodes in there which I still, thinking about it, still really enjoy. Like, I literally enjoyed the second episode still, and like, what Krill did was generally a pretty enjoyable episode. Like, they had its moments, but it's. I almost think a problem with it as well, with Class in general. It very much tried to go for this teen audience, right?
I think it alienated.
Which, first off, it alienated, I think, a lot of fans because, I think it tried to be too teenage and grown up in all the wrong ways at points. Like,
I think, because the problem is like, you just didn't get Charlie and that relationship. I just didn't get the gay relationship. Like, there was nothing in common with them. Like, what really,
I mean, that one I wasn't entirely I mean, that one I
just didn't believe it. It was just no chemistry at all, I felt.
I think there should have been a bit more build up to it, because I think they kind of just jumped in on that on the first episode when they maybe should have perhaps built that up a little bit over the season, perhaps, instead of just jumping straight to it. But that wasn't necessarily my biggest issue. It's just they really, really pushed that sex. Like, they pretty much every episode had like something with that.
Yeah.
And it's like, for a Doctor Who fan, it feels odd and kind of off-putting.
See, if they wanted it to work, they should have just used the Torchwood formula, because Torchwood gets it perfectly. It was the background, but it was still powerful. Children of the Earth, when Jack and Yanto, there's a scene in that. It's brilliant, really, and it was built up slowly over the 3 seasons, and that's how you need to do it. And I think there was nothing about, the thing is, it's called Class. I think there's only about 4 or 5 scenes when they're actually in class in the entire series.
And also, I'd have to say, just in general, there was barely any purpose to not just having it in the standard Coal Hill school.
Did you ever watch the kids show Am I High?
Yeah.
That's what it needed to be more like.
Yeah.
Like, around the school, at least, in terms of lessons, and then having to try and get out of lessons to fight this alien threat. That would have been more funny. Having to make up some BS excuse on how to get out of a classroom, but all of them having to get out, all 5 of them.
Yeah.
They missed really good opportunities of using classroom gags,
just purely to appeal to teenagers and not to a slightly wider audience.
They could have had a great moment where the guy just wouldn't be allowed out the classroom, so he just dived out the window instead. Like, that would have been hilarious stuff. And then you could have the darker, but they never really had those.
Yeah, I don't think it found an audience. Like, quite frankly, Doctor Who is a family show. Like, it appeals to everybody. Like, there's darker scenes, but it's still, anyone can watch it. Anyone can sit down and watch it. Like, anybody in the family. That's its audience. You make something specifically for the teenage audience, which, first off, I wouldn't even necessarily say was Doctor Who's biggest audience to begin with. Like, I think you generally get slightly younger and slightly older people very much more into it than that kind of teenage kind
Yeah,
of years. Well, there aren't, but
yeah.
I think primarily it's older people and younger people generally, not kind of the in-betweens as much. So that kind of already knocks off a fair amount of like its audience appeal to like a smaller fraction of the fan base. And from there, like, we've already mentioned the issues of it being online and about how much people would already care about, like, the online services, which cuts down its audience even further. And, like, you're left with no one, really. Not a lot.
I think that, yeah, and they were trying to, like, get such diversity in the entire cast that it kind of went to too many minorities, I think. I mean, it's good to represent. I'm not saying that. Like, that is not what I'm saying. But I think it went for all of them that then there were no majorities. And again, like, if you go all one way, it's kind of defeating the point, I think, in trying to represent. If everybody is the minority, then no one's the majority. I think it just missed its target audience completely.
Well, I guess you claim that was April, though. I guess.
April was the only... Yeah, but if you have one person out of it all... And I mean, Ram...
Well, I guess that's more very much a balance.
Yeah, because then Ram became just, partly disabled with the leg thing, so then he was kind of a minority, and, it was all... I don't know, I think... The on paper it's a good idea, but I think it was all acted well. Like, all performances were good.
Of course.
The material that they got given, I think, is the big
and like a lot of the production values are pretty good. Like, most of it looked nice, and like as I said, some of the scripts I enjoyed. So like there were some good points to it.
They just killed some people off pretty quickly. Like that headmaster guy who got eaten by the dragon appeared in Doctor Who.
Yeah, they kind of.
And he just got killed so quickly. It was so pointless.
And I still think it was a mistake not to have it in the original Coal Hill.
Yeah,
I do. I think it would have made no difference, and literally just would have been like kind of a nice nostalgia thing. Like,
it would have been better if they had the basement. Where Ace got attacked by the Dalek. Well, no, the Doctor got on the staircase. They could have literally recreated that scene, but with another monster. That would have been cool. But yeah, I just think it's a large missed opportunity, really. They didn't kind of direct it properly with the...
If they were going to do like a slightly more mature Doctor Who, I think it would have been significantly more wise to make a Doctor Who thing that appealed to... Well, I guess kind of to appeal to more of a Torchwood audience, I guess, because they had they've tried all three demographics, as it were. They tried to target it for children in the Sarah Jane Adventures, and that worked. They tried to target it to a more adult audience in Torchwood, and that worked. And now they try to tell it in between. It just, well, I guess that goes back to the whole, older and younger people watch Doctor Who. So they've already appealed to those audiences with like other shows. So like. This kind of really sits in a weird mid-ground when, considering neither Sarah Jane Adventures or Torchwood is going anymore, maybe it would have been more worthwhile making another successor, as it were, to either of those shows in terms of their demographics. Make another slightly younger Doctor Who show, or make another slightly older Doctor Who show for adults, That would be a significantly safer bet than trying to target the teenage market, which doesn't really care about Doctor Who.
Yeah, you kind of go out of Doctor Who and then you come back when you're a teen, or you stay with it, but it's more, there's fewer who stay with it through their teens.
Yeah, no, a lot of people I talk to now enjoyed it as a kid, watched through the David Tennant era, and then kind of dropped off at the Matt Smith era. I found so many people I've talked to have talked like that, and that happens just in general, and heck, I think you'd find that with older fans. And yet, some of the people I've been talking to have been hearing good stuff about the new series, and they're interested in potentially jumping back in. That's as they get slightly going older, and can slightly appreciate a lot of it more, because there's a lot of stuff to appreciate. But of course, in the teenage years, you consider it more of a kiddie thing, because of course it's a family show, as it were.
Well, yeah, you grow out of it, and it's not cool. But hey ho. But yeah, I think. The problem is they advertised it as a sci-fi show, and it was too much about relationships. Yeah. And I think people, if they want to watch a relationship-based thing, they watch a soap opera like Corrie or EastEnders, you know, where it is all about the characters and they have a
They
bit.
don't go to a Doctor Who spin-off.
Yeah, I think it was added on to the wrong kind of, you know, program. I think it should be, you know, a spin-off to something else. I just don't think.
And again, like I said, I really think the biggest issue is just the wrong demographic.
Yeah, I think there's lots of problems really, and we might discuss it in depth in a few years' time. About what went wrong and how it could have been improved.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of think we covered Class. Like, I guess it's kind of a footnote to our reviews, as it were. Like, 'cause I don't see any need to revisit it. Like, we went in depth enough in our original videos, which we tried to be addressing here, and like, you know, I don't see the purpose in talking about it really too much more. Like I said, it's gonna be this weird spin-off thing that was there. But,
yeah, when we're like 50 years old, we'll look back and kind of chuckle and just watch a few. We'll go, yeah, that happened. And it will sit on my shelf next to K9 and Company. Do 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 do. K9, boop boop, Class, boop boop, K9, boop boop, Class.
Looking forward to the adult-oriented Clara and Me spin-off.
Oh my god, no. That would be awful. Awful. God. And the worst thing is that they could return. Like, Me was alright, but just Clara returning will just, like, burn my eyes. If she returns in the freaking Christmas special. Ugh.
The first Doctor pulls off his mask.
It's Clara! No, it was Clara who brought
The Doctor was Clara all along!
Yeah, and the Doctor's actually been the companion. And the
Clara didn't just save the Doctor, she was the Doctor from the start.
Yeah, that little gadget changed their minds over. I mean, Clara was basically the Doctor anyway, so what did it matter?
Clara is a future incarnation of the Doctor, who went back to save the Doctor despite not remembering she was the Doctor, and then split herself into many different Doctors.
Oh my god. That's something Moffat would probably try.
Oh gosh.
So anyway, that's our kind of thoughts on Class, and if it continued, yeah, I guess, but I think it needs to...
No, it's
I'm
not seeing it.
It needs to completely change its direction if it does. But yeah, do you want it to return, or do you think it should just kind of stay next to K9 and Company on the shelf and just... We go, yeah, it existed. They tried it. But no. So yeah, what did you guys think? Comment below on what you thought of Class. Do you think it should be cancelled? Do you think someone else should step in and try it?
I think it's already been cancelled, Nick. Let's be honest.
Yeah, probably. But they haven't officially yet, so I guess we'll see.
Actually, it's not even cancelled. Like, I wouldn't even count this as cancelled. It hasn't been... Yeah, they only made it for one season. It hasn't been cancelled, as it were.
Is what it will be.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you think it should be dropped, I guess, or do you think someone else should come in, or do you think there should be a different spin-off? And
yes.
And what do you think that should be? So say that.
Do you remember those old rumours that was circling around? Like they were going to make a Rose spin-off.
Yeah, that was actually really close. That was close to happening. I think...
Well, apparently Billy Piper had never been told about it,
I think that the one that they missed out on was the Paternoster gang. That would have worked for CBBC. You know, just these three odd bods go around Victorian London solving mysteries. I mean, that's a good setup. It was already set up in Doctor Who. You know? Could have literally replaced Sarah Jane Adventures. Probably not as good, because, I mean... You can't really replace Sarah Jane.
They're not as memorable.
But it would have been interesting. You know?
You know, I've always been kind of... It would be interesting is a legitimate unit spin-off.
Or that. Yeah, with Osgood and Kate Stewart.
Yeah, no.
They could do that. A grown-up.
Hey, maybe they could bring in, like... Oh, well, actually, that's aren't they doing a big finish about like?
Yeah,
they've got a
they
big
have.
finish series now. No, I was about to say maybe they could even bring in like Sergeant Benton somewhere.
Unit Assembled, which has Katie Manning in it. Yeah, that's the latest one. But I mean, they could do that, an adult unit-based series. Maybe we should work on it, Conrad.
Are we with the only writers?
Well, I mean, if one man can write an 8-episode series, I think two boys heading into manhood probably could.
Despite not being experienced.
And then we can have a fan fiction with Sergeant Benton topless chopping some wood for an entire episode.
Oh, God. Oh.
5 rounds rapid. But yeah, so there we go. Tell us below what you think a spin-off would be. Do you think a unit-based one would be pretty good? I think that would be pretty solid. I think we should look into that. We could have some really cool moments, and I mean, with guns and stuff, you can have some, aliens getting shot at, which will be cool.
But having to worry about relationships because
And they
it's
could
living army.
and they could do Silurian and Sea Devil stories, like in the Big Finish one that they're doing. And they could also do like Krillitane and stuff like that, Autons.
Of course, the Blops from the Three Doctors.
Yeah. And a Drashig, and the Timon Rani bats, which their name is the Tetrats,
and the Yetis,
and the Yetis. Come on, make this unit spin-off happen.
Everybody, we can throw everybody in there.
Just get everybody. Just have two.
Everybody
can return, and Harry somehow Harry's grandson could appear, and then get a wood lice. And Daemons, they could do the Daemons. That would be a good one.
The Daemons, and
they could get William Russell to appear.
K1. We could bring K1 in, and it could be remade.
Hey, you know that they could bring William Russell in for like a cameo in it, and they could at one point they could be just questioning him about the Doctor. He could just be kind of losing his mind a bit.
But in canon, he hasn't aged.
Well, I mean that was a rumor which they could just debunk. I mean, they haven't listened to stuff before in Doctor Who.
I mean, I kind of like to think of that as true, because it kind of is a nice kind of closure.
Well, they could just de-age him and do the Rogue One thing. But yeah, I don't know, I think a cool cameo from William Russell would be really cool. Yeah, just some, questioning him, did you ever meet this man? Like just a literal small cameo, like in the background, like a Stan Lee cameo. But yeah, I think a unit-based series would be far more likely watched. Because fans of classic would watch.
You just kind of need to kind of structure like some of the unit stories from the Third Doctor era. Only 2017.
And I mean, let's look at it this way. Diversity, there'd be 2 female leads. Because we got Kate Stewart and we got Osgood. So, I mean, that's a bit of diversity right there. And then one's a Zygon, which would be cool.
It's an army, so you don't even have to worry about that anyway.
Yeah, you could use the Zygon thing at one point. Where the actual Zygon one has to reveal itself to save the day. That'd be a really cool moment. Like, the alien doesn't realise that one's a Zygon, so then one reveals they're a Zygon. And we have totally gone off topic. But
yeah,
this should be a podcast of its own. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. We will see you next time for the next news of the Matrix when any decent news comes out. Boy!
Yeah, boy.